Hiya Bestie, how's it going? How are you getting on today? Today we're doing a budget bestie. Now let me tell you about Budget Bestie. This is a series on my channel where people anonymously submit their budgets to me. I take a look at them and see what I might do if I was in their situation. This is not and never has been financial advice. However, sometimes I can give a little nugget of, I wouldn't go as far to say the word wisdom, but sometimes I might do something a little bit different which might help people with their budgets. So we do a budget bestie every single month and we've been doing them for a really long time. But recently, one of our budget besties came back to me and says, loads of change, I'd love to let you know. So in today's video, we're doing a little bit of review. We're seeing a year on how a budget bestie got on and where their life is now. So besties, should we get into it? So what we're going to do first is we're going to go through the video and see what I did, what I said, and yeah, just so that we're ready, because later on in the video, we're going to give them a call and see what happened. Okay, so here we are. We're here with a video. It is called I Sold My House for £1. Budget Bestie episode 16. And it's from a year ago. So loads must have changed. Let's take a look at what this video was about. So they have financial goals, and I think the big selling point of this video was that because they had a difficult time with one of their ex-partners, they ended up having to sell the home that they owned, and what they got left, because their partner was a bit naughty, they ended up with £1 from the sale. So it seems like their life was in a bit of free fall. From what I remember, they were looking to save for a house which they needed like 15 grand for, to get like a 5% deposit. They were planning on having another baby, but they weren't pregnant yet, and maternity, as we know, isn't a lot of money, so they're looking to save up about 8 grand as well, and they wanted to be debt free.
Personal budget booklet, and we're going to move to a budget.
I've still got that. I bet you I've got that. I bet you I can find that. No, I can't find it, so I must have ripped it out, but still, it's nice to have your old budgets just in case. Just maybe don't rip out your old budgets. So from what I remember, they had pretty normal bills, and there were some alarming things. So like they were paying £40 for school lunches. They had really high, I think they were paying like £110, £120 on their mobile phones. And I was like a little bit furious about it. There was also a situation where they were paying every month for, they had 2 cars, right? They're paying every month for one, and then they were saving up to pay annually for the other. And it didn't make sense to me.
Much for mobile phones in the UK. I'd definitely be looking at downgrading my mobile phone. There is no need to have a phone that costs you that much. You are paying out of the odds. If you can't afford a nice phone, you can't have a nice phone, as far as I'm concerned.
That's a bit rude of me, but it still stands. If you can't afford a nice phone, don't have a nice phone. So true. So moving over to their envelopes, they were doing $320 for groceries, and I was quite surprised. Yes, I remember. I was quite surprised on their travel. They were spending like equal amounts on travel, £300+ a month on travel as well. And the other thing that drove me absolutely wild, besties, they had no budget for spending money, so it was just going into free fall every single month. And they were like, I wonder why I'm like always broke. And it's because they were just spending, they had no budget for spending money. So of course they could have it. Of course they could have whatever they wanted, because there was no budget for it. Absolutely wild. They had all of these sinking funds as well, but they didn't really share how much they were putting towards them. So they were putting money towards them and then they were spending it because something popped up. They were an impulse spender and stuff like that. And then when we got to the debt as well, they had £1,000 overdraft. They had money that they owed to IKEA, probably on credit as well. And then they owed £1,000 to Next as well. So I'm pretty sure I did a debt repayment plan for them. And the idea was that they would, yeah, here it is here. It was a snowball plan, and I wanted them to put £1,000 a month towards debt, and that would have seen them debt free in 6 months. I think when we got to the end of the budget, what we discovered was that they were in a really good place. They had a young family. They were planning on adding additional kids, but they wanted to make sure that they were ready for it, which is like a really smart thing to do. They wanted to make sure that they could use a bit of maternity money. They were looking to get a home and hopefully have a holiday one day. They really could have made it happen. So as long as they, you know, got rid of their debt and they were able to save up and do all of those bits in the right order, they would have been absolutely fine. But as we know, life doesn't always end up like that. So Bestie, I think it's time to give them a call and see what actually happened. Okay, I'm gonna call her now. I'm feeling really nervous, but I guess I guess it... Why do I feel nervous about phone calls? Anyway, get it together, Ira. You need to do this. Hello. You're right. You're wonky. You're the other way around. Perfect. I've got the video I did a while ago, so I can just basically say, well, I said this, what did you do, sort of situation.
Yeah, that sounds really good. And just FYI, things changed a lot. I took a lot from your video, which I'm excited to, like, you know, extract the sort of bits that you said and implemented it, but a lot has changed. When the video actually aired, that was the week that I found out I was pregnant.
Oh, wow.
So all of a sudden it was right, okay, I can't implement exactly what Ira has said, but I can take bits from it.
Perfect. So the video says here, a year ago.
Yes.
So you must have like a 3-month-old by now. Wow.
She's almost 7 months now.
Wow, 7 months. Wow.
So I think it was July. I'm sure it was July 23. So during the year.
Yeah.
And that's when I found out I was pregnant. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so things must have changed then. Well, let's look at it. So first of all, you said save for maternity, and you said not pregnant but hope to be soon. Been saving and renting for years. It's a struggle to rent and save for a deposit. I find that because a deposit is a huge amount, I get lost in the saving. I bored of saving and spend what I've saved, then I regret it, and then the cycle starts again. And I was talking about how, like, yeah, that happens to everybody. Like, that happens to, you know, that's definitely happened to me as well. So big difference is you did get pregnant. So maternity that you saved up for, that obviously didn't happen. Or did it?
No. So I was in a situation where I had the 2 credit cards with IKEA.
Yeah.
I had the overdraft and I had the Next account.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it was, right, house on the back burner, because now the goal is to save for maternity.
Yeah.
And I needed £8,000.
Why did you need £8,000?
That was to cover bills.
Oh.
And sinking funds.
So
that was my goal.
The maternity was there like no maternity pay then?
Yes, there was maternity pay. I think it's sort of similar across, you know, county, people who work for county or the government. It's 2 weeks of 90%. No, sorry, 2 weeks of 100. I can't remember what it is. It very quickly goes down to half pay though.
Oh, okay, and that's not easy to live on, is it?
And I knew that I wanted, with it being my third and my last, I knew that I needed £8,000 in order to take a year off, which I hadn't done with the other 2. So that was my goal, and I knew that we'd be comfortable with that, but I knew that there was no way that we'd be able to save £8,000 in 8 months from that point.
Yeah.
8 months since the baby came. All of a sudden, it was like, right, we actually need a bigger car now. We need a bigger second car.
Wow, there's 5 of you. Yeah.
This is where the debt kind of went up a little bit.
Got ya.
We decided to consolidate all of those monthly payments. So our monthly payments at the time were just over £600 going towards debt. So we consolidated that amount and borrowed a bit more in order to pay a second-hand car. Which meant that the monthly payments then came down to £310 a month. And I needed that debt amount to come down in order to have more accessible money during maternity.
Makes sense.
But my debt then increased.
Of course, yeah. So the plan I had for you was to put £1,000 a month to debt, and it would have meant that your debt would be gone in 6 months.
I think I would have done that, but because we needed a second-hand car and we needed to save up for maternity.
Your circumstances changed overnight, so of course.
Yes.
So where are you at with your debt now then?
Right, so we are currently at the moment, so we are now at just under 14,000 we owe.
Okay, so that's not bad. That's not horrendous, is it?
No, it's not horrendous. We just keep paying the minimum payment for that big loan at £310 a month. But what was really, really helpful during your video was when you were talking through the bills.
Yeah.
And the little tips that you gave us for the bills, there were certain things that we changed. So I think the first thing was school lunches.
Yeah, because you were paying, what was it, £40 a month?
I you gave me, which I'll go through now, because I knew that money would soon drop. I needed to save for maternity, but actually, did I really need to save £8,000? Could there be a way to reduce my bills?
Mm-hmm.
So school lunches, well, luckily, Wales came in at that time and provided primary school children in Wales with free lunches, free school dinners, which we never had before.
Yeah.
So straight away, that was wiped out. 40 quid saved a month. Amazing. The car payments, we were paying car insurance and car tax on one of the cars, but then paying annually for the other one.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was down to just not having the big bulk for the annual amount.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So we took your advice, banking funds for both cars.
Perfect, yeah.
And we're able to pay for the full amount. Car insurance, that was a high amount as well. We managed to find much cheaper car insurance.
Yeah, is that one of those situations where you just stay with the same provider and just let it roll over?
I've always been pretty good at trying to find the best deal, but it was because I added my partner onto my insurance and then we changed address.
Oh.
So then it add on all these little extra bits. Oh, that'll be an extra £5 on
yeah.
or an extra £10 for that now.
Yeah. What about your phones? Because I picked out that your phones were, I think you're paying 61 a month for one and 52 a month for the other. That's a lot for a phone.
I know. We got stuck into the cycle ever since I think I first bought my phone back when I was probably like 17, 18. Get a new contract, get a new handset. I said to my pop, why have we been doing this? This has just been a cycle that we've just been getting stuck in. Oh, we're just going to get the brand new iPhone every 2 years. I thought, right, okay, let's just go for a SIM only.
Yeah.
So we both paid off our handsets.
Yeah.
I think we both had about £300 left to pay, and then just went on to a SIM-only contract.
It's wild, because you could have stayed on that forever with like, yeah, it's just wild how they can just take so much money out of you for a phone. It's like, why do you need the newest one? They're all essentially the same now, aren't they?
They are.
So you're probably spending about 110 a month on phones, and you're obviously saving quite a lot now by going SIM only.
Yes. The other thing, we managed to reduce the pet insurance that we're paying.
Yeah.
For our old boy Rory. So he's on a reduced premium now.
Mm-hmm.
We cancelled Amazon. We cancelled Netflix because we weren't using
Both
it.
of them? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
We weren't using it.
Oh, okay.
We just tend to watch YouTube. And to be honest, we don't have much time because we're so busy. I mean, the kids are like football and swimming.
3 kids is going to do that, isn't it?
Yeah. I moved HP Link to my business account.
Perfect. I know it was only £4.49, but like business spend, business, right?
Business. We reduced our outgoing so much that we didn't need to then save as much for maternity.
Okay.
And that was just you bringing it to our attention.
How was, did you, obviously, what's happened to your groceries? Because now you've got more mouths to feed. Because you were doing, was it £3.80 a month?
So we're still sticking to, I've done £100 a week for groceries.
So like 400, 500 now?
Yeah.
Okay, that seems really reasonable. And why was your fuel £320 a month?
Right, so this is where it gets exciting.
Is it just a Wales thing? You have to drive everywhere?
The reason
clearly.
it's so high is because we've got family that live one end of North Wales and we live the other end.
Uh-huh.
So, and also we're back and forth to school, back and forth to workplace, back and forth to football, swimming. So it's just a load of short journeys in the middle of the week and then longer journeys on the weekend. We have actually managed to buy our own house now. So we're in our own house.
Wow.
And our house is across the road from school, which I work in the school that the children go to.
Perfect.
It's across the road from the football ground. It's across the road from Brownies. So I'm walking everywhere. I'm walking there.
That's so good. So how did you get to a place where you got your own home? How did you get that deposit done?
My partner had the ISA.
Yes.
Where the government put in 25%.
Is it like the LISA for first time buying? Yeah, 25%.
Yeah, so he had that. So we had, at the end, £5,500 in there.
Uh-huh.
I was always insanely jealous of anybody that said we managed to have a loan from a family member.
Yeah.
I just didn't think that would happen. But one of our family members had sort of heard about what we wanted to do, and they said, well, they'd loan us the money.
Uh-huh.
So we just needed to, we managed to top it up. And we did the lowest percent deposit possible at the time, which was a 5% deposit.
Yeah.
Which meant that we could then get into our home. So the plan is, as soon as I'm back to work, that's when the repayment starts.
Yeah. And is that like going to be an emotional debt, more important than all the others? Get it done, yeah.
Absolutely. Because the family members made it very clear that it can be paid back whenever. But if I was to go out for a meal, just something as small as that, I'd be thinking that money could have gone towards them.
Yeah.
Or definitely we wouldn't go on holiday. I couldn't go on holiday knowing that I still owed money.
Yeah.
That would be a big chunk. In fact, the holiday would probably pay off, the amount that we owed. So I need to get that done first.
Yeah, I'm so pleased for you with that. The other thing I remember is that you just didn't really have a budget for you and your partner's spending. You just spent whatever you wanted. Did you do anything there?
Yeah, it was a case of pay the bills, spend what we need to spend, and then save whatever's left over. But I'm sure you can guess, there was practically nothing left over to then save. So taking on really the habits that you bring in, which is income, take out your bills, work out what you need to save for, your sinking funds, and then anything then left over, ensuring that you've got a little bit of spending money so you're not going to come in stuck at any point.
Yeah.
Put all that money to your savings before you do anything else.
Absolutely.
Because looking back at the amount of splurges I've had, such a weird word, splurge, isn't it? I love a good splurge.
We all
really
love a
do.
splurge. Yeah, but are you taking care of yourself now by giving yourself a little bit of an allowance and?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah, we have £20 a week for spend.
That's what I said as well.
It is,
Yeah.
it is, and it's a nice amount as well, because I always find that it's just bits and bobs, it's like a little chocolate bar.
Exactly.
So there's always a bit of money left over that I can stuff in my little savings challenges and things. So I'm still progressing, even though I know I've got that little bit of money to spend.
Exactly.
And it doesn't make me feel, you can start to feel frustrated at times if you don't have the money to do something, but I know I've got it there, so it's not a frustrated feeling, It's that
feeling of like, what do I want more? Do I want like this in the future, or do I want a slap up meal now, sort of thing?
Exactly.
So has anything really happened to your sinking funds? Because we had quite a lot there. So you had your cars, which we spoke about already, football brownies, uniform, house deposit, which obviously you're not really doing anymore, and maternity. So you probably got quite a fair bit of money left over after you've taken out the house deposit and maternity now.
Well, what I need to say is I will have. Currently on maternity, our
of course,
income has dropped significantly. Although we're saving on our bills, our mortgage is actually now almost double than what our rent was.
Yeah, so your rent was £675, yeah.
It's £1,138.
Uh-huh.
So at the moment we're just sort of living off the savings.
Yeah.
Putting aside what we need to, but then I've got like my maternity pot that I just take out of as and when we need to. We're not going on holiday. We've got holiday booked for May, but I'll be back in work by then.
Lovely, because you said that you'd really like a holiday as well.
Yeah. Our goal was to go on holiday whilst I was on maternity, because we haven't been. This is a goal for me, to go on an all-inclusive holiday with the children and my partner. It's just not doable at the moment. So, and the reason why I wanted to do it during my maternity was because I wanted to go away during term time, when usually I have to be teaching in a school.
Yeah.
I wanted to be that naughty teacher. That will just have to wait, and that's fine.
You've had so much life change though, so you can't feel bad about that. Like, you've moved into a new home, you've added an addition to your family, like so much has happened that like sometimes an holiday can wait, and it'll be so much more nicer because you have. So talking about that, what are your sort of goals for the future? What are you thinking about, like maybe overpaying on your mortgage a little bit so that your monthly charge is going to be less, or is it just kind of just have a easy life sort of thing? What's your sort of goals with money?
I was actually going to ask you, mainly because I like the way that you think and I like the way that you word it. So what would you do? Well, our income would be a little bit higher than
Yeah.
it previously was. Our bills would also be higher. Income will be 5,400. Bills will be 4,000. Sinking funds will total 700, which means that we would have, after everything, including the minimum debt payment, we'd have £1,300-ish left over. What would you do?
So what I would always suggest is to value your comfort over everything else. Value what's important to you over absolutely everything. So for me, what I would consider doing is trying to overpay on my mortgage as much as I could, just so that in the future, my minimum payments on my mortgage each month would become less and less, so my life's easier in the future. That might not necessarily be the right thing for you because you've got a very young family, so you might want to be considering prioritizing experiences like holidays, bigger birthdays. I mean, they're only like young once, do you know what I mean? It flies by so quickly as well that you don't really want to. Is having a comfortable future more important than actually just really living in the now? So potentially you might want to just beef up a lot of your sinking funds just so that you can have bigger, better birthdays, just so that you can have more sort of family time, so that you can really luxuriate in as many holidays as possible and spending that time with your kids. And it's really about where are your priorities with your family, and it's not necessarily a bad thing either way, I wouldn't have thought. But I would, you know, in your situation, I would think about myself. But you're a mum with 3 kids. You are probably, you know, you could just blend the approach and do a little bit of both. But your kids are young once, and same for you. We're only young once as well. So like being able to take your kids away maybe more than once a year might be a really, really good thing. Get rid of the debt nice and slowly. Debt's always going to be there. And for some people, like for me, I really, really struggled laying my head on my pillow at night knowing that I had the debt that I had. It was very, very tough for me. So it was an emotional thing for me to make sure that I cleared it all away. But a lot of people aren't like that. They can live with the debt because it's manageable and live their life like to the absolute fullest. So it just depends on what's right for you.
From April, the debt would be lower.
Yeah.
And easier to get rid of. Do I pile everything into the debt to get rid of the debt, but then I'd still have a mortgage anyway?
It doesn't have to be and or all the time with a budget, I wouldn't have thought. Like, you know, you can do an overpayment of £300-400 a month to your debt and it will get you closer, but so would £200 overpayment and then saving £200 to have weekends away. It doesn't have to be one or the other. It can be both, a little bit slower. I wouldn't worry about it. I think you're in a really good place.
A lot has changed in a year, Ira.
It does, doesn't it? It really does. Lucky I'm not in any danger of getting pregnant.
I know, I'm not having any more though.
That's what you say now. A lot changes in a year. So what would you say to people who were thinking, should I do a budget, Bestie? Should I submit a form? Do you think it's helped you?
Oh, it's really helped me. And I probably would have stuck to it exactly word for word that you had said if my circumstances hadn't changed so quickly. It's been more than just having a budget, because I've been able to make drastic changes and I've actually been able to have my maternity for a full year after reducing my bills and taking tips and things that you said, and not wasting money.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wasting money without even realising I was wasting money. For example, the phones. But actually, probably one of the biggest things that came from that video was I made my partner watch it with me.
Ah.
He's a big fan now, which is brilliant, because he was always very dubious about cash stuffing. And, you know, I do my little videos twice a week, and I'd keep him completely separate from it.
Yeah.
He took down the tips, he made a mental note of what you were saying, and, you know, he was introduced to the sinking fund idea, which I have been doing on the side. It's implemented some good work closer together now. So now we sit down together and we work out our finances because Ira said so.
Oh, that's good.
That's what Ira said. You can't do it.
Oh, that's so good. So you mentioned you got a channel as well. So can people see your new budget on your channel?
Yes, so I last week uploaded my new budget. It's still a little bit airy-fairy because we've just moved in, so we're finalising bills from the old house and starting up new bills here. But yeah, I upload that on a weekly basis.
Lovely, and that's a glorious money day.
Yeah, which is again quite ironic because there's nothing glorious about it. I'm complete shambles, to be honest.
Well, I love a bit of chaos, so I'll definitely link that in the description and we'll all go and have a look. Okay, all right. Thank you so much for all of that today. And yeah, I don't know. I guess I just wish you the best of luck.
Oh, thank you so much. I really, really enjoyed it.
Good.
So thank you. And it's been so nice to actually speak to you.
Yeah. All right, brilliant. Thanks so much for today, and I'll speak to you soon, yeah? You too.
You too.
All right, bye. Hi guys, and all my pals, thank you so much for getting through to the end of the video. You know I love it when you get through to the end of the video. Please give this video some love, make sure you like, comment, share and subscribe, and if you are going to comment, please use this emoji. What did you think of today's video? Like, I think, without wanting to pat myself on the back too much, I think we made, as a collective, quite an impression on them and their budget, and I think they've done a fantastic job. As we know, when you add an additional child, or just one child as it is, it completely turned your life around, and to an extent it'll change your budget as well. Like, things just change, things just happen. So I think it's wonderful that they've gone into this scenario just so positive and really understanding themselves, and with this new money mindset where things aren't as difficult as it seems. Do you know what I mean? I'm so pleased that they had that addition to their family and that things just seem so much better. So even though they didn't necessarily follow everything that I would have done, they've still made it happen their way. The point I really want to touch on is the bit at the end where they were like, what would you do in my scenario? Truly and honestly, your goals and your financial goals and everything like that is so personal. Personal finance is personal. So it's all up to you and what's important to you. Like, for me, I would be looking at paying less every month, but I'm not in a situation where I have children. Making the most of that time with your kids can be a really important thing. So there is no one rule. There is no correct answer. It's just what works with you and your family, and it's absolutely wonderful. I'm really excited for them, and I'd love to know what happens in a year. I'm definitely going to schedule in a call with them. So they share their journey over on YouTube, and I'm going to link it in the description below. Make sure you go over, make sure you give them a follow, make sure you give them a comment and let them know that I sent you. After this video, if you were in any doubt whether you should submit a budget bestie or not, please do. I love doing them, and just me taking a look at your money, because I am a nosy person, is so like wonderful, and I'm so like, I feel so honoured that you share that part of your life with me. So thank you so much to everybody who submitted a budget bestie. If you're in two minds, just do it. Just give me as much detail as I absolutely can, and I'll see what I can do with it, bestie. Have you considered becoming a channel member or a patron? Patrons get exclusive content, sneak peeks, and significant discounts off my Etsy store. Channel members get early access to every single video. In fact, they've seen this video long before you have, bestie. If you like sounds those perks and you like the sound of me, have a look at the links in the description. You will not regret it, bestie. That's all we have for today, but until next week's video, I would like you to have a wonderful day, have a wonderful week, and have a wonderful budget. Always remember, don't trust Ira. I have no idea what we're going to do for the thumbnail. Maybe we do like, let me just hide my screen. That. Maybe we do that. Yeah, one of them will do, bestie. See you soon.